Hello, my friend. Welcome to the Zen Beautiful podcast. If this is your first time here, I'm so glad you've joined me. This is a quiet space for people who want to slow down, reconnect with creativity, and remember that making art doesn't have to be about being good enough. Today, I want to talk about something that many adults quietly carry inside them. The question is, why do we stop creating? As children, we draw, we paint, sing, dance, imagine, and make things without thinking twice. But somewhere along the way, many of us stop, not because we no longer need creativity, but perhaps because life slowly taught us to put it aside. So if you were ever said, I'm not creative, I'm not talented, I'm too busy, maybe someday, this episode is for you. Think back to when you were a child. You probably didn't ask, is this drawing good? You didn't compare your painting to someone else. You didn't worry whether your handwriting was beautiful enough or whether your colors matched perfectly. You simply made things. You created because it felt good, because it was fun, because you were curious. Children understand something many adults forget. Creativity is not a performance. It's a way of being. As we grow older, we begin to hear messages. Stay inside the lines. That's not right. You are not artistic. Other people are better. Sometimes these messages come from teachers. Sometimes from family. Sometimes from classmates. And sometimes it comes from our own inner voice. Little by little, creativity becomes something that can be evaluated. And when we feel judged, we begin protecting ourselves. It's often safer not to create than to create something imperfect. Adult life asks a lot from us. Work, family, responsibilities, bills, appointments, deadlines. There's always something that feels more important. Creativity becomes the thing we save for later. After the house is clean, after work is finished, after everyone else needs are met. But later can quietly become years. Many people don't stop creating because they lose interest. They stop because they believe they need permission to make time for themselves. This may be one of the biggest reasons. Many adults believe, if I'm not good at it, why bother? But creativity was never reserved for talented people. Creativity belongs to humans. You don't need to be a professional artist to paint. You don't need to be a musician to sing. You don't need to be a writer to write. You simply need to allow yourself to begin. The purpose of creativity is not perfection. The purpose is expression. When we stop creating, something very subtle happens. Life becomes only about producing, doing, achieving, managing, solving. We spend our days taking care of everything except ourselves. And eventually we feel disconnected, tired, overwhelmed. Sometimes we don't even realize what's missing. We only know that we feel empty. Creativity doesn't solve every problem, but it creates space. Space to breathe, space to feel, space to listen to ourselves again. Watercolor is interesting. The water doesn't always go where you want it to go. The colors blend in unexpected ways. The paint teaches us something. Control is limited. Perfection is impossible. And beauty often appears in places we didn't plan. Sometimes I think watercolor mirrors life itself. When we allow the paint to move, we remember that not everything needs to be controlled. Not everything needs to be perfect. And perhaps we don't either. If you haven't created anything in years, you do not need to start with a masterpiece. You do not need expensive supplies. You do not need talent. You only need a small moment. Maybe today you draw a leaf. Maybe tomorrow you write a few words in a journal. Maybe next week you pick up a paintbrush again. Small acts of creativity still counts. Tiny moments still matter. You are not starting over. You are simply returning. I'd like to leave you with a question. When was the last time you created something just for yourself? Not for work, not for social media, not to impress anyone. Just because it felt good. And what might happen if you gave yourself 10 minutes this week to create again? No pressure, no expectations, only curiosity. Thank you for spending these quiet moments with me today. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to leave comments and tell me, what creative activity have you been wanting to return to? And if you like a gentle way to begin again, I invite you to join my free 5-day watercolor reset. Until next time, take a little time to breathe, allow yourself to slow down, and remember, creativity was never something you lost. It has simply been waiting for you. I'll see you in the next episode.
Listen for me in a violin. Listen for me when the knife is turning. Listen for me when the world is burning. Baby,